My name is Ilara, and I'm originally from San Antonio, Texas. I'm a mother to a wonderful little girl, Lily, who is now 3. She was born just 3 months before the world changed, before the pandemic truly took hold. Those early months were a blur. I was working from home, trying to juggle the demands of a newborn with the isolating reality of lockdown. It was an incredibly intense period. The surge of oxytocin after Lily's birth was overwhelming. The fierce, protective love I felt for her was unlike anything I'd ever experienced. That primal need to nurture and protect her consumed me. As time passed, I eventually took family leave and became Lily's primary caregiver. It was during this time that a long-dormant feeling began to resurface: dysphoria. I'd always experienced it, a subtle undercurrent of unease, but I'd never truly understood what it was. About 1.5 to 2 years into the pandemic, these feelings intensified. They became a constant, nagging presence. I remember a specific moment vividly. I was with my then partner, Amelia, and we were watching TV. She turned to me and asked, "Where do you see yourself in the future with Lily?" I looked at her, and a wave of confusion washed over me. I couldn't answer. All I could manage was, "I'll get back to you on that." The truth was, I couldn't picture myself in the future at all, especially not in the context she meant. My future felt like a vast, impenetrable fog. I'd often take Lily to the park. We'd spend hours on the playground, but I felt disconnected. I couldn't relate to the other dads there. I couldn't envision myself as one of them. It was like I was observing them from behind a pane of glass. Then, something strange happened. My TikTok algorithm started showing me trans content. It was as if the app was trying to tell me something. Intrigued, I started exploring these videos, and a seed of understanding began to sprout within me. I knew I needed help. I began searching for a therapist and eventually found someone who would become a lifeline. At that point, I was lost, questioning everything. Am I trans? Am I not? What does this all mean? I was desperate for answers. Months of therapy followed, a period of intense self-reflection and exploration. Finally, a moment of clarity arrived. It was like a dam breaking. I am trans, I realized. I've always been trans. The realization was both terrifying and liberating. I could no longer deny it. The weight of suppressing my true self was crushing me, and I knew I couldn't be the parent Lily deserved if I continued to live a lie. My own well-being was inextricably linked to hers. The next steps were daunting but necessary. I came out to my parents, who, thankfully, were incredibly supportive. I also came out to Amelia. It was a difficult conversation, but we both realized that separating was the best course of action for everyone involved. I began my social transition, finally living authentically for the first time. I started using my chosen name, Ilara, and presenting myself as female. Of course, my biggest concern was Lily. She was so young, barely 2.5 at the time. How would she understand? How would this affect her? A month or 2 after starting my social transition, I began hormone replacement therapy, HRT. As time went on, my hair grew longer, my presentation became more feminine, and the HRT started to take effect, changing my body in ways that finally felt right. Lily witnessed these changes during our visits and outings. She was absorbing everything, processing it in her own way. There wasn't one single defining moment, but gradually, I could tell that things were starting to click for her. One instance stands out vividly. Lily came to visit me at my apartment. I had recently acquired a print of a mural by a queer artist from San Antonio. It depicted the Virgin de Guadalupe as a trans woman. It was a striking image, and it was the first new thing Lily noticed when she walked in. She stared at it for a moment, then pointed and said, "Daddy." It took me completely by surprise. I hadn't expected that at all. It was a profound moment of realization. She was making the connection. She was seeing me as I truly was. But the most affirming moment, the one that truly solidified everything, happened more recently. I was practicing my voice in my apartment, saying my name repeatedly. I'm Ilara. Hi, I'm Ilara. Lily was playing nearby. Suddenly, she looked up at me and said, "No, Ilara." Even though she prefaced it with "no," it was the first time she had ever said my name. Hearing her say, "Ilara," I can't even describe it. It was incredibly validating, one of the most affirming experiences I've had since transitioning. It felt like a confirmation that I was finally on the right path. Now, when I think back to Amelia's question about the future, the one that used to fill me with dread and confusion, it's completely different. I can now envision myself in the future with Lily. I can see us 20, 25 years from now, with her as an adult. I can imagine us walking in the park together, going out for dinner, sharing our lives. I can now create these memories with my daughter as my true self. It's a blessing, a gift I never thought I'd have. I'm so grateful that I can be this person for Lily, that I can finally be my authentic self with her. I continue to elaborate on the feelings of dysphoria, the fear of coming out, the relief of acceptance, and the joy of finally living authentically. I added more descriptive details about the setting, my emotions, and the interactions with Lily to reach the desired length. I hope this expanded version meets your expectations.